Welcome to This Week in Education Law School Administrator's Guide, episode 26. Have you ever been in a situation where you disagreed with your supervisor and didn't know how to handle it? What if your disagreement escalated to the point of insubordination? What does it mean to be insubordinate? And why is it such a serious offense in many workplaces? I'll answer these questions in a real-life case. In January 2019, the College of Arts and Sciences of the University of Cincinnati awarded Triumph Cords to graduating students who had overcome some form of adversity. The college awarded these cords based on nominations by faculty and staff without vetting the nominees. As a result, the college unintentionally awarded a cord to a convicted sex offender who had also been suspended for sexual misconduct at one university and investigated for the same at another. When members of the university community discovered this student's criminal record, they became upset, venting and sharing their frustrations on social media. Once the university Title IX coordinator learned of the college's oversight, she told her direct supervisor and other university officials that, first, she planned to investigate how the university evaluated admission applications from convicted sex offenders, and second, she believed that the university could be considered deliberately indifferent toward potential sex discrimination unless it provided resources to students who did not feel safe on campus. The director also passed the news along to the university's executive director of public relations and expressed her intention to formally address the controversy in a letter published by the university's student newspaper. That letter reads as follows: Dear editor, I am writing in response to the feedback and concerns expressed by members of our community regarding the award to an article about the student's name. I understand that members of our community are being impacted by this situation and are hurting. Please be assured that I hear you. We are looking into various processes at work so that we can improve them. In the meantime, we have resources on campus for your support. We must do better. We will do better, continuing to work to make the environment safe and equitable. Please don't give up on us, as we are not giving up on you. We are here and we hear you. In response, the executive director of public relations directed the Title IX coordinator to check with her direct supervisor before submitting anything. So the Title IX coordinator forwarded the letter to her supervisor. After reading the letter, the supervisor ordered the Title IX coordinator not to submit anything until permission was obtained from other university officials. While discussing the letter with her colleagues, the supervisor discovered that the university administration had authorized the dean of the College of Arts and Sciences to formally address the controversy. The supervisor then informed the Title IX coordinator of her discovery, reminding her that the dean, not the Title IX coordinator, had been tasked with issues the university response. The supervisor also identified problems with the Title IX coordinator's letter. First, the letter included the offending student's name. Second, the letter made vague promises like "will do better," which the Title IX coordinator lacked the power to both make and keep. Third, there was a procedural concern. Before issuing any official communications, the university would typically develop an FAQ, anticipating and answering questions potentially arising from such communications. But there was no FAQ accompanying the Title IX coordinator's letter. Nevertheless, the supervisor promised to continue discussing the letter with her colleagues and ordered the Title IX coordinator not to submit anything unless and until the approval was obtained. The Title IX coordinator did not wait. Hours after their conversation, the Title IX coordinator texted her supervisor that she intended to send in the letter to the editor, that she would accept any repercussions for her actions, and that she just wanted it to be done and go home. In response, the supervisor texted, "I'm on call regarding the matter. Please do not send." The Title IX coordinator sent the letter to the newspaper anyway. Once the supervisor ended her call, she called the Title IX coordinator and asked whether she had sent the letter. The Title IX coordinator said, "Yeah, I sent it, and I don't regret what I did." The supervisor reiterated, "You cannot get ahead of our colleagues. There was already a process in place. We cannot insert ourselves into the system or into a process." In fact, a few minutes later, the dean emailed the Title IX coordinator the college's statement addressing the controversy and its plan to remove the student from the college's article recognizing each court recipient. The Title IX coordinator took matters into her own hands again and sent an updated letter to the student newspaper the very next day, which included a mention of the student's Title IX office. Without informing her supervisor or seeking approval, the Title IX coordinator made the changes and sent the revised letter. But for some unknown reason, the letter was never published. Following this incident, the supervisor reported the Title IX coordinator's insubordination and unacceptable work behavior to the university's Human Resources Department. During the internal investigation that followed, the university discovered additional infractions, namely that the Title IX coordinator repeatedly ignored the Title IX complaints, justified her insubordination to her staff, repeatedly criticized her colleagues in front of her staff, routinely interrupted her staff's work, and missed many of her own reporting deadlines. At the conclusion of the university's investigation of insubordination and unacceptable work behavior, which violated the university's conduct policy, instead of terminating her, the university allowed her to resign. The policy permitted the university to terminate the Title IX coordinator immediately for insubordination or for not following standard and acceptable behavior. After the Title IX coordinator resigned, the university discovered that she failed to follow up on an email accusing the sex offender of assaulting others on the university campus and did not conduct any further investigation into the university's admissions practices. The Title IX coordinator sued the university for unlawful termination under two laws, Title VII and Title IX. The district court dismissed her Title VII claim and ruled in favor of the university's summary judgment on her Title IX claim. The Title IX coordinator appealed this decision, and the Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals affirmed the district court's decision. Let's look at the questions raised at the beginning of this video. First, what is insubordination? Insubordination refers to the act of willfully disobeying a supervisor or authority figure's reasonable and lawful orders. In this case, the Title IX coordinator was instructed by her supervisor not to submit the letter without permission and coordination. The Title IX coordinator sent the letter anyway, stating that she did not regret her actions. Was the supervisor's order reasonable and lawful? The answer is yes. The supervisor stated that she needed to coordinate with other university officials before submitting any letter regarding the controversy. The supervisor also pointed out the problems with the content of the Title IX coordinator's letter, such as including the offending student's name and making vague promises which the coordinator lacked the power to both make and keep. Additionally, the university typically developed an FAQ before issuing any official communications, but there was no FAQ accompanying the Title IX coordinator's letter. Given these factors, it appears that the supervisor's order was reasonable and lawful. In addition to the three issues identified by the supervisor, did you notice that the Title IX coordinator did not send her letter to an official authorized to both address the controversy and institute corrective measures on the university's behalf? Instead, she sent the letter to the editor of the student newspaper. Insubordination is considered serious because it can lead to a breakdown in the chain of command, lack of respect for authority, and can harm the overall productivity and performance of the organization. Insubordination can also create a hostile work environment, damage morale, and ultimately lead to disciplinary action up to and including termination. Employers rely on employees to follow instructions and perform duties that contribute to the success of the organization. And insubordination undermines this essential foundation of the employer and employee relationship. In the workplace, it's possible for a supervisor to abuse their power by falsely accusing subordinates of insubordination, and there are exceptions where employees may not follow their supervisor's order. First, the supervisor's order is unlawful. For example, it is against the law for a school principal to order a teacher to change students' test scores to make the school's performance appear better than it actually is. This would be considered academic fraud and a violation of professional ethics. Teachers are expected to maintain academic integrity and report any violations or attempts to manipulate student grades. If a teacher is ordered to change grades by a supervisor, they can refuse to follow the order because it is against the law, and the supervisor cannot take disciplinary action against the teacher for refusing to do so. Second, the supervisor's order is unsafe. Let's say a school principal orders a teacher to allow a student with a known history of violence and aggression to participate in a field trip without any additional supervision or support. The teacher knows that this student poses a risk to the safety of other students and believes that the principal's order is unsafe. In this situation, the teacher may be justified in refusing to comply with the principal's order and reporting the issue to a higher authority to ensure the safety of all students. Third, the supervisor's order is discriminatory. For example, you supervise two employees with similar job responsibilities. One employee, Joe, is male and the other, Jane, is female. You regularly give tasks related to managing the district's budget and finances to Joe, while Jane is consistently assigned to the tasks like filing and making copies. Jane, who is also a member of a protected class, such as race, age, or religion, raises concerns to you about the inequitable distribution of job duties. But you order Jane to continue with her current task and not to question the assignment of job duties. Jane refuses to comply with your order, citing discrimination based on her gender. In this case, Jane's refusal to follow your order is protected because it's based on discrimination and you cannot discipline her for insubordination. Fourth, the supervisor's order is in bad faith. In legal terms, bad faith generally refers to a state of mind in which a person acts with dishonesty, lack of fairness, or other improper motive. For example, a school district supervisor tells a teacher to implement a new teaching method in their classroom, but the teacher believes that the request is being made to set them up for failure. Or the teacher discovers that the supervisor has a personal financial interest in the company that developed the teaching method and pressured the teacher to use it to benefit his own financial gain rather than for the benefit of the students. The teacher may refuse to follow the supervisor's order if they have evidence to support their beliefs that the request was made in bad faith, such as a history of unfair treatment or a personal financial gain. In this case, the teacher's refusal to follow the order may be protected as a form of self-defense against potential disciplinary action or termination. The key is that the teacher would need to have evidence to support their belief that the request was made in bad faith. In the case introduced in this video, the court agreed that the university's decision to terminate the Title IX coordinator, her behavior was considered insubordination. Moreover, the university's investigation uncovered evidence of poor performance. The Title IX coordinator's own files and correspondence confirmed that she failed to meet many of her reporting deadlines and unacceptable work behavior, as well as her failure to follow up on a serious complaint and her failure to investigate admissions practices. As a result, the university had the right to terminate her for her conduct. As a school administrator, it's important to understand the concept of insubordination and when an employee's refusal to follow an order may be protected. It is also important to ensure that all of your orders given to the employees are reasonable, lawful, and non-discriminatory. Failure to do so may result in legal disputes. By promoting a culture of respect, fairness, and open communication, you can help prevent situations of insubordination and create a positive work environment for all employees. I hope this case is helpful for your practices as school administrators. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.